welcome to the Legendary Foods Test Kitchen. Today, we're going to be creating a high-protein snack that you can create at home with some of your Legendary Foods' favorite high-protein snacks. Take a look at today's guest.
Chef Mareya, thank you so much for being here.
It's so good to be here.
We're so glad you're here.
Thank you.
What are we making today?
We are making stacked and jacked nachos. These are high-protein nachos made with a burger. So you can take a burger and use it for a lot of different purposes. And we're using the jalapeno, cheddar, and the nacho cheese legendary popped chips, which are so high in protein and so delicious.
That's amazing. This is going to be a better for you nacho with tons of protein.
Nachos are just a great share plate. Football season,
Perfect.
You know, it's great for an outdoor gathering. Like, it's just, it works for everybody.
Absolutely. Nachos is a win for everybody in the family.
Definitely. And it can be part of your meal prep too, because you'll see with all of the different elements that we're going to put together, this is something that you can have, and then you can keep the elements separate and assemble when you're ready to eat.
Absolutely.
So first of all, we're going to start off by grilling off these burgers. You can obviously also use ground meat. I love to use these crossover burgers because they are part chicken and part beef. There's 32 grams of protein in one burger. I'm going to add these to my grill top here. And girls, don't be afraid to grill. I'm telling you, it's one of the easiest things to do, to cook and get food on the table fast.
That's a great thing to think about when it comes to indoor grilling, because when we both are fitness competitors and we are both over 50.
Yeah, so high five on that one.
Okay. Having an indoor grill is so easy. It makes meal prepping so much easier and the cleanup is easy.
Everything tastes better off the grill. Super simple. We've grilled the burgers off, and then, you know, next we just get to make the sauce.
How does cooking healthy meals and trying to attribute that to meal prepping for competitions or just meal prepping for daily life?
Yeah, meal prepping is so important. In fact, you know, I've been teaching meal prepping for over a decade now. And even before I started competing, I did it because as a busy mom, you know, life happens, and before you know it, you're trying to reach your fitness and wellness goals. But if you don't have food in the refrigerator, it's going to be really hard to get there. So even just simple meal prepping can really take you a long way. And I really started looking at my diet, and I started looking at how I exercise. And I went from being a cardio bunny, living on carbs, to a high protein fanatic, and somebody that lifts weights, and it transformed my life.
So let's move on to our next step. What's our next step in these beautiful nachos?
What do you need for nachos? You need protein.
Yes, absolutely.
And you need chips, where you're getting protein.
Absolutely.
And we're gonna make a cheese sauce with protein, but we're going to watch the fat. It's just a blender nacho cheese sauce.
Wonderful. That sounds exactly the recipe that I need in my life.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Okay.
So now that our burgers have rested, after you take them off the heat, you want to let them rest for 5 to 10 minutes, just so that the juices lock in. And we're going to chop these up because on our nachos, we want them to be bite-sized. So you're just going to come in.
And now you topped these with your superfood sprinkle?
I did, yeah. So my superfood sprinkle, this is a spice blend that I created that is a combination of 13 different superfoods inspired by my culture. I'm Egyptian, and in Egypt, we place a lot of emphasis on the role of herbs and spices in your healing and maintaining good health. So it's really like a one and done spice blend. You can sprinkle it on your meat like we did with the burgers. You can season food with it, but you can also add it as a finishing spice. So we'll sprinkle it over the top of our food as well.
Awesome.
So we've got our burgers chopped up and ready to go now. It's time to make the cheese sauce.
Okay, so next up for our recipe, we're going to be making our spicy nacho cheese sauce.
So we're making this cheese sauce in a blender. I like to do it in the blender because it saves one step. You know, anytime you can save a step, you're winning. So we're using a low-fat Mexican cheese. This is a blend of cheeses, but you can also do just cheddar, for example, or Monterey Jack. And we're gonna add in some low-fat milk. You can do lactose-free milk. You can do milk alternatives. We're gonna add a little bit. We're going to save a little bit just in case we want to make our cheese sauce a little bit more smooth.
Okay.
Now, I like to add in cottage cheese. Cottage cheese is packed with protein. As you know, this is like competitor food prep.
Absolutely.
But cottage cheese has become so popular now too. And it's still cheese. So it's giving you that cheesiness, but it's doing it without adding a lot of fat. You can do a low fat or non-fat cheese.
So when you were competing, your goal was to be as lean as possible to be on stage.
Yeah.
Is this type of recipe something that you would be able to have during a competition prep, or is it something that you've incorporated into your post-competition lifestyle?
This is more of a post-competition lifestyle. You know, this is more life. This is regular living type of food. Certainly for some people, it could work into their prep. Everybody's prep looks different too. So depending on what kind of athlete you are, what your calorie needs are, your macro needs, you know, it could very well fit into your prep. Okay, so now that we have the base, we're gonna add in our seasonings because this is just a blank canvas at this point. So we're gonna add in a little bit of cornstarch. This is a fun hack for just thickening up our sauce. We're gonna add in a blend of garlic and onion powder because it's gotta have some flavor to it. Now, this is kind of a fun hack. So this is nutritional yeast. Have you ever worked with nutritional yeast?
Before.
Okay, nutritional yeast. Smell it? What does it smell like?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
A little cheesy?
Yeah, it is a little cheesy.
A little bit like parm.
Yeah, I was gonna say it smells like a little bit like garlic or like Parmesan cheese.
Yeah, so it's gonna give a little cheesiness to this, but it's also got B vitamins. And this is great for people who are non-dairy. So you can make this cheese non-dairy. If you don't eat any dairy, you can do a non-dairy yogurt, for example, like a Greek yogurt. This will add the cheesy flavor. And a lot of people use nutritional yeast as a substitute for cheese. So especially like with popcorn, this is awesome. I love it. We've got some smoked paprika. Smell that.
I love paprika. Any recipe,
smoked paprika is one of my favorite ingredients, just across the board. And so many different cultures use it. So that's going to add some wonderful smokiness to our cheese, give it that depth. And then we're going to do a little hit of lime juice. And let's add a little bit of avocado oil. And this is going to emulsify our sauce and make it nice and silky.
Perfect.
Do I have everything?
I've got everything.
I'm missing something.
We're missing our peppers.
I'm missing the heat.
Oh, yes.
Okay, we've got cayenne pepper, which is really going to kick it up.
Perfect.
You said spicy, right? Okay, let's add a little bit so we don't, you know.
So we don't overwhelm you.
So we don't overwhelm you. And then you can also add a fresh pepper. I've got serrano peppers. And here's the key with pepper. If you like heat, but you're afraid of it being too hot, you can.
Promise I will not touch it.
All right, it's time to blend. Let's do it. Look at that gorgeous, silky blender sauce.
It looks perfect.
With
absolutely perfect cheese
look at
sauce.
that. Come on.
There you go. It's absolutely
you
perfect.
Can pour
I
that
can't wait to have that on top of the nachos.
Over anything. And a fraction of the fat of just regular cheese sauce.
Okay, so now that we have everything else assembled, we are going to work on our toppings. But I've noticed you have a variety of beautiful things going on here for yourself. What is your goal for the perfect plate?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's all about protein and color. Because if you get a wide variety of color onto the plate, you're naturally going to get fiber, micronutrients, and food that's vibrant and alive that feeds you to the core. So with nachos, you can really top it with whatever you want. You can do your favorite salsa. You can do fresh toppings like this. You can see just visually it's so appealing. You've got your purples and your greens and your reds and your yellows, and you could do an orange pepper. You could do, you know, a beautiful hot sauce. I like to do a bunch of different things because, again, you eat with your eyes first, right?
So what are we going to be adding on top of this? I see you have an avocado. What are we going to do with the avocado?
This is my favorite fat source. Avocados are really a superfood, and they're so good for you, and they're so delicious. So I like to class things up a little bit. I mean, nachos are like a hefty, hearty food, but this is a way that you can add a little chef's touch to make it look cute. And I'm gonna make an avocado rose to top our nacho plate. Are you down with that?
I'm so down.
Okay, cool.
The Chef Mareya avocado rose.
Okay, let's do it.
Here's the actual tutorial.
So we're gonna cut open our